Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination thrive. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
Yo,
Let's try that.
Yo, what's good, everyone?
Hey, what's up? Happy Sunday. Welcome to our 7th and second to last episode of the Penguin. The penultimate episode 7, titled Top Hat. For those of you who are familiar with the character of the Penguin, that sounds significant. Had a chance to watch the episode, but not in great detail because I was doing something else while I had it up on the screen. So there's a lot of stuff I missed, so I will be watching it with you again. If you're
go ahead. I'm sorry.
If you are a Patreon member, you have your link if you haven't clicked on it yet. So go ahead and head over there, and I'll give you a couple of minutes. We are starting at negative 55.24. So it's right as the static begins for the HBO logo. How's everybody doing tonight?
All right.
I'm all right. Better than yesterday with the internet going out. So
It's always good to hear.
Yeah, I had internet issues. I had internet issues and I had StreamYard issues. I'm still having some audio StreamYard issues. So, and I noticed like last night, people's internet was not internet, but their the sound was cutting in and out. So I think
It's going forth.
at least I'm not alone.
This episode kind of made me really hate the Penguin.
Oh, dude, when he set a mother and son on fire,
It took you this long, man.
like, dude, he's a piece of shit.
Well, that
Almost
was
like he had a great supervillain origin story, huh?
no, that was business.
Well, it could be worse. My nose could be gushing blood.
That was
Oh.
business.
Yeah, you'll have to.
What he did in this episode, I don't know, man.
Yeah, have you seen it yet, Claudia?
no, I haven't seen the episode yet. I was waiting for you guys to say.
Yeah, we'll get it started in a couple seconds. I don't know if there's anything that can top setting a mother and child on fire, but yeah,
This episode does.
I
I don't know.
Like
Like,
I said, he's an irredeemable piece of shit. I'm sorry.
He's a supervillain, right?
Yeah, but he has an added touch to his.
All I'm
manure
gonna say without spoiling is Brad and William, but Brad specifically because I've been talking to you about it every stream.
Yeah.
The things that I say are leading the easy stuff, the thing that it looks like it's leading to. We got more hints of that today.
Yeah.
And then my theories about Vic, I think are gonna be right. That's all I say.
Okay. That's I can see where you're going with it.
He's not robbing people. For those of you who are
You might
inquiring,
be Mr. Freeze.
Are you sure he's not
No,
looking?
yeah. I don't. From all the interviews that Matt Reeves has put out, I don't think he has.
No. We're gonna hear at the end of the final episode. We're gonna hear somebody tell you she used her middle name. I like that name, Robin.
Yeah.
I'll
Oh,
tell you this
shit.
one. Leo, Did you catch how Vic came down the tunnel on the bike exactly like Pattinson and take the helmet off?
It's like I said. I just don't think it just nothing Matt Reeves has demonstrated shares the obsession that a lot of people have with having Robin around. He just doesn't seem like he's going in that direction. It seems like he's going the exact opposite direction in his world. What is that?
With him framed with the crowbar.
Oh, you hit somebody with a crowbar? Okay.
The last.
Okay,
the last,
so everybody
uh,
gets hit up the head in a crowbar, and it's going to be Jason Todd. It's kind of weak.
All
right.
What's going on? Fun, and Chuck Cage and Antonio Baker in the chat there.
Yeah.
And then
Buongiorno, how you say good morning in Italian for anyone who's
Chuck Cage thinks he's going to be Victor Zaz. I'm gonna say no, but there might be a hint of somebody in there that could be Victor Zaz possibly in the future, or a version of Victor Zaz.
I don't think Victor's going to be anybody but Victor from this show.
Yeah, I think he's going to be Victor as well. But the Victor Zaz stuff, I don't think anything about Vic that we've seen is going to make him
like
Victor
I said,
Zaz.
unless Matt Reeves goes in complete detour and abandons everything that he does,
set up.
There's not going to be a Robin in this universe. I don't think.
I don't know about all that. I just know that Vic ain't going to be Robin. I think. So.
I can't see a Robin in this universe. It just doesn't fit.
They talked about it after the Batman first movie came out.
Not seriously, no. And a lot of people who want a Robin will take any fucking breadcrumb and turn it into a loaf of bread and say, "Oh, it's right there." No, I mean, unless he.
I hope we get one just to piss you off. Well,
that's not good for you because you're just if it's not good for the story, you're just doing it in spite of me. Who fucking cares about me? I mean, it just doesn't.
At least 1,100 viewers, William, care about you. At least 1,100.
Not about, like I said, not about.
They're all here for me.
Watching something in spite, but like I said, I highly doubt it. And you got to rationale how this universe is built. What kind of Robin? I mean, it just doesn't work.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. So, okay.
Any predictions before we start, Salati and Aaron?
It's a Robinless universe.
More fireworks. That's what I'll say.
More fireworks.
Definitely some fireworks.
Yeah.
How about you, Clint? You already kind of gave your. You said you watched already, but is it satisfying? Do you think it's going to go where you want it to go, or do you think it's starting to taper off, or is it better than expected?
Oh, it has the same quality as all the other episodes. It just this episode made me really dislike him.
Okay.
Like I said,
have you seen it, Spidey?
I never liked him.
So you know what I'm talking about.
I do. I think we'll all see it very soon too.
All right. So want me to count down?
Of course. Best countdown guy we got.
Yes,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
All right, we're in there like swimwear.
You're infinitely more gooder than Brad.
What's going on, Omega Swiper?
No, it's interesting to everybody talking about what a bastard the Penguin is so far in the show because I'm ahead of I'm one episode ahead of people on Superman and Lois. I'm telling you, like this Lex is like, oh man, this Lex is a bastard. I can't wait for you to see it tomorrow night. That's a lot of you. It's like I really want to hear your thoughts.
I haven't seen that show, Brad, but Lex looks like a biker to me.
That's kind of they play on that. They definitely play on that.
And they did like what 3 bearded Lexes in a row. They
They
had John Cryer with the beard, then they had the guy in the Titans with the beard, Titus Welliver, and then they had this guy, right?
Yeah, Michael Cudlitz. Yeah. Is that
you gonna get a beard, Brad?
Hashtag beard, Brad.
I've had a beard on the show. Lately, I'm just trying to keep it trimmed.
Trying to preserve his baby face.
Well, I see when you, go out like a blind ninja. You gotta, you can't give away anything about your identity. So you can't have facial hair.
Wouldn't it be smarter for a ninja to have the facial hair, do the thing, and then cut the facial hair off to escape?
Well, yeah, but then it's like he's got to wait for the facial hair to grow back to do another mission.
He doesn't just do the mission the one time.
Would
Be
you ever know?
effective.
Have you ever known a ninja to go on one mission only?
Part-time ninja.
I don't know any ninjas, Brad. Wink, wink.
In the really real world, ninjas dressed like everybody else.
Hmm. And they use tools like you let us know, Brad, that were just like farming tools and shit.
Mm.
We were watching Seven Samurai. You were explaining that.
Yes, that's true. But see, I'm a whole other grade of ninja because I am a man without fear.
Mm. I put
I'm
you
also-
more in the
and I'm
Chris
also- I'm-
Farley.
And
I
I'm
put
also
you more in the Chris Farley Beverly Hills Ninja
a really
category,
good lawyer.
Brad.
Also, I'm a really good lawyer as well. How do we get all those rabbit hole talking about Daredevil or watching a Batman show?
Because you started talking about Lois and
Well,
Superman.
so what? Yeah, it's like comparing. You know, we were talking about like who's the more like dickhead villain. So
you open the door to a non-topical conversation.
it'll be topical
Well,
tomorrow
Vegas-
night. I promise you that.
Tangentially
Got any-
topical, William.
Got any predictions, Omega Swiper?
You know, yeah, this is what I'm talking about too. When we're talking about Lex just being
Yeah.
royal asshole on the show. And
I
he's
don't
so
know. William and Force, were they calling the wheels rims in 1988, or were they calling them spokes?
I've always thought of them as rims, heard them as rims, period. I've never really heard spokes.
Who is this? This is actually probably pretty good. Who is this kid playing the young Oz? It's a pretty good casting choice.
I don't know, but this guy that's the Rex mobster guy, he's from Killers of the Flower Moon. He's one of Bill's men.
Killers of the Flower Moon. Leonardo DiCaprio plays the stupidest character ever, and he's great in it.
Yeah, it's since we're talking about like Batman characters with the debate about whether or not Robin will ever show up. I'm kind of curious everybody's thoughts. Like, what other like if you could pick another Batman villain to have a TV show, who would you want to go with on that?
I
guess
would.
the easy
I
one to
would
say was
say,
Two-Face.
Oh yeah, Two-Face, because he can turn into a political thriller,
Yeah.
or you can always go full on Catwoman.
Mm-hmm.
Catwoman would be mine.
Yeah.
Played by the same, played exactly like she was in Batman.
Well, she's a little bit debatable when I talk about like a Batman villain because she's she straddles that line. So
She's an anti-villain, Brad, would you say, or is she anti-hero?
Oh, she's a villain, but she's hot. So Batman's like, ooh.
Yeah.
okay, that's Clint's logic there.
My logic is usually correct.
Except the Zoe Kravitz Catwoman. That's the weakest
What
one.
about Freeze?
Mr. Freeze, he
Freeze
could be interesting.
be all right in this. Would he be all right in this world, or?
Well, he was like after the movie.
I
Like, he
keep
was
going
one
back
villain.
with the boy.
You keep going back on what?
She said back and forth.
Okay, yeah. He was actually
What
one
do
of
you
the first I started thinking about.
No.
After the movie ended, I just kind of like had this idea in my head, like Gotham is flooded, so you add in like, you have a villain who freezes stuff now. That could be like a thing they play.
This is too real world. None of that
Yeah.
fun stuff can happen.
Azteca says Scarecrow. It's also so real that Batman hit his fucking head on a bridge and got up and ran off. So he'll be fine.
Well, it's like you see him like looking down that ledge, like, oh man, like
Listen,
what am I not doing here?
I know they all say grounded, but I see more fantastical stuff in this Batman than the Nolan
It's
stuff.
fantastical that he survived that.
I mean, even some of the Riddler stuff was fantastical.
I mean, he took a bomb to the face, and the police took him to the precinct instead of the hospital.
Yeah. Okay, now we're going down the sewers. We're going to run into the scary clown.
So this kind of gives us insight why Penguin even knew about these sewers to begin with, huh? And I'm not sure about the set, but when they first walked into the sewers, it seems like that's the same place that his car was getting his wheels stolen Here's where I'm stalling
Yeah.
from.
Talking about who I might pick. Oh, we just lost. Yeah. Again, there's always like a hiccup that Aaron unfortunately has to deal with, so she'll be back in a minute. I've kind of this has kind of been done in movie form, but as far as like it also been done on a series, but not live action. But I could kind of get behind like a Harley Quinn show, like a Harley Quinn like live action like episodic series.
So is this kind of what you were talking about, Clint?
I'm not watching it,
Okay.
but you can just. I have it memorized. I mean,
Yeah, I'll let it play out a little bit more, and I'll talk to you about it. I don't want to. I mean, somebody brought up Victor Zsasz earlier. As far as like a serial killer goes, that could be an interesting show, I suppose. Not a super big Victor Zsasz fan or anything, but doesn't matter what I think.
It's too realistic. Victor's ass can't show up.
Instead of cutting the tallies into his own skin, he'll write it down on a post-it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He'll just keep counting his head.
Exactly. This kid sounds like he has to go to work after this.
Definitely, he needs to work out.
I don't know. I'm just getting Roseanne vibes from this.
I don't know either. Is it the son? Does the son look like the youngest Roseanne son to you? So there goes Mini Penguin looking at Fred Astaire in a penguin suit at a cabaret again. His favorite kind of movie.
Mm.
Casting of the show is amazing. It's really, yeah. Definitely. I mean, obviously they got a little bit of they had a little bit baked into it from bringing over Colin Farrell and other people from the Batman.
Yeah.
So,
But
like
everybody
a lot
else
of
is pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he's the only one from the movie, right?
Did we have any of Turturro on the show yet?
No, because remember he got replaced by
Yeah.
Mark Strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't like the violence towards women that was being depicted in the show.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't get my head around that because it's like
He was
because
choking women in the movie.
Because anytime I hear people say that, it's like, I mean, or like it just kind of sounds to me like, okay, so you're mad that the villain is engaging in a villainous activity.
No, he wasn't mad. He just didn't want to be part of
the
depicting it.
graphic, yeah, the graphic.
He said, you know what, he doesn't judge, but he didn't want to be part of the depiction of it, especially what he ended up becoming his characters.
So, Clint, we just saw the scene where he had left his brothers in the sewer and hung out with his mom all night. Is that what you were talking about?
oh yeah,
Yep. Because he was jealous of his brothers and the affection and attention they were getting.
well, when he set the two people on fire, that was business.
Mm-hmm.
Still fucked up though.
I'm not saying it's not fucked up.
It's just business as I'm burning you alive.
I mean, he's you can see where his value of life starts, right? You know, if you can do that to your own siblings, you can just
Then you're ready to do it to anybody and everybody. So it shouldn't be surprising how he's been acting this whole show. And that's
This
why
guy might
Vic
be
might have.
stronger than Loki's.
You say he's stronger than Robin?
He can survive the crowbar.
You might want to take a look at how Robin got his ass beat with that crowbar. He didn't get popped upside the head one time.
I mean, you know, there are actors that play Nazis on movies and stuff, and I mean, they're not Nazis; they're just playing a part.
Clint, that's mostly true.
This is gonna. I know somebody's gonna clip this. Somebody's gonna clip this and try and make me sound bad. But my favorite movie Nazi is I don't think I even named him in the movie, but it's the Colonel dude in Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade.
The guy from Schindler's List of mine.
Yeah, I think in the credits he's listed as Vogel, like the character.
Wasn't Phineas one?
Yep, that's the one I'm talking about.
But he's the guy like where they're on the Zeppelin. He's like pushing down people's newspapers with this cane, saying, "Hey, have you seen the Jones guys?" And then Indy punches him out and throws him out. No ticket. That's.
Are you talking about when they're on the Zeppelin?
Yeah,
the Hindenburg or whatever, or the fake Hindenburg.
Yeah,
right before it went down.
Yeah. Well, then he's on the tank at the end, right when the tank goes over the cliff, and it zooms in on his face as they fall.
Childhood bread. That was one of my all-time favorite scenes, dude. Indiana Jones going up against the tank with the horse. I loved that scene when I was a little kid. I love that shit.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite. You know, and he has like the one part where he takes the gun and like shoots through like 4 Nazis with one bullet. He's, whoa, I didn't expect that. So yeah, someone's gonna clip that and say like Brad loves Nazis, but no, not true. Not true.
Well, they're going to clip that statement for sure. Here's a clip of Brad saying Brad loves Nazis.
Absolute fun. That's the absolute version of fun in the absolute universe. Says that maybe one of his brothers will live and become the Killer Croc. Maybe Killer Croc ate his brothers. Is that what they always say about Killer Croc? They make legends about how he lives in the sewers and eats people.
Yeah.
Man, Clancy Brown's a badass in this.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's too great. He's two great DC villains so far.
He's Lex Luthor and he's 3. He was also Parallax.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And Mr. Freeze.
That good though?
Yeah.
He was Mr. Freeze on what? Oh, on the Batman, wasn't he?
Yeah. He's a legacy character, a legacy DC actor. So.
Who?
Clancy Brown, yeah.
Who is?
Clancy Brown.
Oh.
Because he was voiced Lex Luthor on Superman, the animated series.
Live action, please.
Okay,
he played Parallax in the Green Lantern movie.
And he's playing Sal Maroni.
Okay, live action.
Good movies then. Good live action.
He's the bad guy on Highlander 1.
That's a classic.
No, it's the Kurgan.
and he's Hank in Detroit Become Human.
There you go. So we got all media covered now.
You guys scrape the bottom of the barrel of this shit.
Detroit Become Human probably made, I don't know, probably like $1 billion easily.
Yeah.
I bought the ticket at the beginning of the show.
What? Sam?
Right on. Go ahead, Aaron. I was just talking shit. Go for it.
Timestamp.
Timestamp. Okay, I didn't catch that.
We are at 1747.
Okay.
Actually, by the way, probably might be a good time for me to ask him now, because we talked about because this is the penultimate episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we talked about that's either just before or just after. The last one might be a good time to actually do a watch party for the Batman itself. So that's about a little bit over a week from now. So, I mean, you want to make that this Saturday's one or what?
Possibly. Let me look at what the day, how the day rolls out. I know I got Showmania on both those days.
You gonna host it independently, Brad?
What's
Totally
you want
on.
me to come down for that?
Totally on. Need
If
this
you
show.
want.
I gotta take this show all by myself.
Is that elevator still broke?
Yeah, it's going to be down for a while. That's a.
Well, that kind of
there
answers
for-
whether or not I'm going to Tromania.
We can airlift you in, Clint.
Use a Hoyer or something like that to get you up to the second level.
Man, they
I ride piggyback on William's back.
Put you on a cherry picker.
man they really need to put like maybe put outdoor escalators as well.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good.
Maybe William.
William,
And that's it.
she kills it as so. She's a great Sophia.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm
I do enjoy her character. I have no idea about the comic, but I enjoyed the character.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that the Las Vegas authorities hasn't gone down on that building. Or not getting the lift fixed up quickly enough. If that was Australia, my God, the local government would be on the building's back real quickly.
Oh, I could probably sue it for ADA.
What did they say her disease was last week? Anybody?
Because in Australia,
Was it Parkinson's?
No, they said it wasn't Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. They said it was something else.
in Australia, go on.
It's Louis.
In Australia, we take nobility really seriously.
Lewy body, Clint. Is that what you're about to say?
Yeah, Lewy body dementia. The same thing
okay.
Robin Williams had.
Okay. That's what Omega, I think Swiper was trying to hit, and Chuck Cage is trying to hit that as well. There in those shots.
And I don't blame Robin Williams for doing what he did when he got diagnosed with that.
So crazy.
The weird thing about dementia, if you have it, you're not really affected by it.
Uh-huh.
It's everyone else around you.
Mm-hmm. I should know.
Oh yes, my
Chuck.
my grandmother had it.
My dog Lexi had about 2.5 years ago, and that was it was about a month or so. We were doing that and realized, yeah, it was kind of unfortunately time to say goodbye. You could tell she was just kind of walking in circles. She wouldn't drink out of her bowl. So unfortunately had to take her to the vet and say goodbye.
My grandmother, who had dementia, was trying to hook me up with the nurse that was taking care of her at the hospital.
What?
So did you guys get married or?
No, we
Just out
both
of-
looked at each other and just laughed and went, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
So
pets give you many days of happiness and then one of the worst days of your life.
So William, Chuck is saying in the chat that he's getting Mad Hatter vibes from Julian Rush, and of course the Mad Hatter's Jervis Tech. But is Julian Rush a character in the comics, as far as you know?
I don't recall, but I could be off.
Because a lot of people say that Mad Hatter or the Scarecrow with him a lot. So
I think he's gonna, outside of the primary ones like Joker, Catwoman, Penguin. I don't think he's gonna go Scarecrow. I just don't think. I don't see a Scarecrow or Mad Hatter. But then again, he could go in that direction. But with 2 more movies and maybe another show, maybe Penguin season 2.
maybe just because they did spend the time they've spent now a considerable amount of time in Arkham Asylum or Arkham State Prison between the movie and the show, and now we have a doctor out of there. That kind of lines up with the Scarecrow story a little bit.
Yeah. I really, just personally, this is me personally, I don't think he's laying any visible groundwork for anything he's doing going forward.
Just everything's kind of in the moment, kind of.
Yeah, I think he has what he wants to do in his head, but he's not forecasting anything. So what you see here is what you see here. There's no, maybe that guy might evolve into something else. He just doesn't look like he's doing that because none of these guys really lead to anything. And whenever he introduces a character, he introduces the character. He doesn't introduce the hint of a character. You saw the Joker, you saw the Penguin, you saw Catwoman. So that seems to be consistent with his style. So that Dr. Rush to me is just a doctor.
Unless there's a Julian Rush somewhere else that we don't know about. Because, Mad Hatter's Jervis Tech and what's the Scarecrow?
Dr. What's his name? Hold on.
Brad, you know the Scarecrow?
What's his real name? It's Jonathan Crane.
Jonathan Crane. That's right.
So basically, what he's supposed to be, according Esquire, is a new version of Hugo Strange, but you can't really see much there.
Right.
So I don't really think that's the case. So
I see a little hint of that, but that would probably be the weakest.
Yeah, it would. You could use any psychiatrist that's an architect.
Right. It could be interesting though. You never see Hugo Strange in a movie or anything, but it all depends.
This scene disappointed me.
Should have been more of a bloodbath, you think?
The climax of this scene was very disappointing.
Yeah.
That's how this went.
Pretty much the Penguins fighting a ghost right now,
huh? 2 old dudes fighting.
Yeah. This is going to annoy
you.
You
think the Penguin's in his 40s in this show? You figure?
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
He's
supposed to be 33 in Batman Returns.
Well, yeah. Well, he's okay. So if he's a kid when Beetlejuice, he's talking about his brothers went to go see Beetlejuice.
That's 88.
Yeah.
So he looks to be about 10 or 12 there. So let's add. So yeah, he's pressing.
He's supposed to be about 33 in Batman Returns.
Mutant.
Oh,
though.
that's just.
He's a mutant penguin, mutant freak show baby.
This is fucking stupid. This is the one blemish I have with this show because this is not how I.
Well, I mean, you could look at it this way.
Let's go, Elizabeth. The big one. It's the big one, Elizabeth.
He got stabbed last week, and now he's succumbing to his wounds this week. That's why I said the Penguin's fighting a dead man or a ghost.
Elizabeth, I'm coming, Elizabeth. It's the big one.
So, seeing that we saw in,
I was just asking, why was he shooting a dead body?
And you just see, this is where his mind is. This is where his priority is, right here.
That I beat you. I'm better than you. Yeah.
William, this is going to annoy William, but Colin Farrell, he did have better fight scenes in the Daredevil movie. I'm just saying.
So speaking of Daredevil, out of the Kingpin's childhood flashback and out of the Penguin's flashback, who do we think had a better flashback in these shows of their childhood?
Oh, that's interesting.
Kingpin
That's
killed
a
his
good
dad with the
question.
hammer, and
Yeah.
Penguin killed his brothers.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's
So
a good.
he's so petty. It's like with all this on the line, he's so fucking petty. It's hysterical.
Mhm. Goes back to that ring.
Yep.
His bargaining chip.
I think you can make a case for the Penguins being the darker of the two.
Because the Kingpin had a good intention or whatever.
Yeah, well, the fact that he was
Trying to
with
protect his mom.
good intention, but he's also just trying to uplift himself and out of the kind of bad situation he was born into, and the Penguin, he's again, like William said, he's just kind of driven by being just petty and just
the funniest Penguin origin
He's
story.
he's blasting off bullets when he doesn't need to. I mean,
The Penguin or the Kingpin's funniest origin story is on Spider-Man the animated series when when the gangsters left him behind, he couldn't reach the ladder.
oh yeah,
'Cause
well,
was
no,
too big.
he reaches the ladder, but he can't
Can't
pick
climb
himself
it.
Yeah.
And then when Spider-Man fought him, he was trying to make fat jokes. He said only 3% of his body was fat.
up. Well, that's canonical, yeah, because the Kingpin, he's not fat. That's muscle.
Yeah.
He's got
In the after credits, they explain why he shot him.
okay. I don't think I saw that part yet.
If I had to guess, Clint, you don't have to answer. Is it to make it for reputational purposes? So it looks like he shot him, or he's the one that killed him to put the pin on it.
Not for reputation.
Okay.
I will say one thing. I do think I still think you can make an argument for the Kingpin is probably the more unstable of the two of them, because my mind always goes back to the car door, with the one guy.
Awesome.
Yeah. So he's the one who's like the more violence prone. They're still both very violent.
Is the Kingpin in the Penguin?
No,
I'm
he's
answering
the
No,
buddy.
I was just doing a comparison of their flashback stories
Yeah,
because the
they're-
Kingpin has
yeah,
a similar flashback to Penguin that we see in the beginning of this video or this movie show.
One of those things.
Right.
Chuck says, I think Sophia is going to end up back in Arkham leading the Arkham series. Well, didn't that, because I'm still fully clear on that, was that,
It got changed into something else.
yeah, or that was like Gotham PD or that, like something like that. Like, I'm going to pull that up. It's like one of the spin-off shows got reworked. So
people
think
were
like that.
mentioning Zaz earlier. I know this is a self-harm thing, but Gia has cuts all over her arms. I don't think she'll be a future Victor Zaz, but that's closer than Vic is so far. But if anything, I think she gets adopted by a certain Bertinelli family later on and becomes the Huntress, right?
But Spike,
The-
fun
the-
fact for you, the guy who
The
plays
closest,
go on, Aaron.
the closest thing that we have with DC having a Kingpin is Tobias Whale, who is Black Lightning's main villain.
okay. Did they ever have him on? Because I didn't follow the show that closely. Did they ever have him on the show?
Tobias Whale, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that show actually lasted longer than I think people realize. It lasted a good like 4 seasons over the course of like 2 years. So
What were you getting at, Geladia?
So
I
fun fact
have
for you,
to-
the guy.
I absolutely loved the show.
So Spidey, what I was saying is that fun fact for you, the guy who plays Victor in this show has actually played the Arkham games. He said that
He's a fan of the Arkham games.
he's
that's
the fan
cool.
of the Arkham games. Yeah,
The guy has good taste then.
he's got good taste. Yeah, very good taste.
I think this little girl changed her name to Barbara Kelly.
I think it's gonna be she's gonna get adopted by a certain Bertinelli family, and she's gonna be Helena Bertinelli.
I think she's
To get
just
rid of-
fucked up. I think she's just a fucked up kid put in the
Yeah.
show just to develop her character.
Yeah, I know, William. I'm just spitballing. You know, Huntress's origin is very close to that. I'll put it to you this way: she's closer to the Huntress right now. That little girl's closer to the Huntress than the movie Huntress was.
The Huntress actually kind of underutilized in Birds of Prey. I want to see more of her in it.
No, we don't.
So you never watched any of the episodes of Black Lightning?
I saw one or two, but I mean, it's like I just didn't follow the show as a whole. And that was I was actually I was starting to kind of fall off a lot of the Arrowverse at that point, and that was before Superman and Lois started. So and then God, I feel because Crisis on Infinite Earths that ends. They're setting up their Justice League on TV that never happened. So.
It should have never got as far as it did.
And by the way, I was actually thinking about that earlier, William, because Superman and Lois, of course, that's been, and maybe I'll go this a bit more as kind of the show wraps up here, but that's been established to be, its own thing. It's not part of the year, but had they actually ended up proceeding with the post-crisis, CW Justice League, do you think that would have created more of a mandate to like tie Tyler that this Superman he is on Superman and Lois, that's the same. That would have been the same Superman he would have been on Justice League. They wouldn't have tried to like say, okay, separate Earth, we're doing our own thing. Where they have tried to, say, okay, now we're connecting these two now.
No.
You think it still would have been?
No, because they were too disorganized and too mismanaged. They didn't know where they were going with that story as they were doing it. So they didn't have any forethought about Superman and Lois as far as, it was basically two separate companies. What they were doing with that god-awful story, they were making that shit up as they went along, and you could tell. So no, I don't think it would have led to anything.
William, what do you think that red device was? They obviously showed it for some reason, but what was it? Do you think is that something that's real, or do you think that's something that's just for the show, or what?
What red device?
That red device Julian Rush had when he was with her Penguin's mom.
Oh, I gotta go back and look at it.
The light bar that was going back and forth.
Isn't that the hypnosis? Isn't that what he was using to put her under hypnosis?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah, I think. But if you go back to the earlier episodes, he's using it on Sophia. I actually think that this guy, be honest with you, he might be a figment of her imagination.
Okay, that's interesting.
Because I could be completely off, but the situations that they are together in are situations that bend towards her, and he doesn't make any sense.
Do you feel like it's just those two? By the way, like of course there was the time when she has her flashbacks and the other doctors in there, but she might just like you said she might have conjured him up to cope with her.
And it's the guilt of the girl taking her family away. I think he may be a figment of her imagination to deal with all of this.
Do you think that she's using Bliss?
That or she's just fucking crazy. She's crazy.
The Bliss pills were when she went to his house. The Bliss pills were in his drawer. That's another thing. Yeah. He has a house that she went to. So
I think he's dead.
Okay.
I think he's dead. I think that at some point he was real. I think she iced him. I'm just throwing out there because the situations don't make sense, and his character change as it gets deeper is more catered to her needs than anything. And her fucking him and scratching him up and all that shit. I just think that he either never existed or he did and she got him.
With us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess.
So how do you think she escaped from that situation then in the alley? That was just all in her head and she just recovered on her own?
I think she called somebody, but like I said, that may have been.
Maybe it was the bodyguard. You might be right, William.
Maybe the bodyguard, or maybe that's the last time he's alive. I don't know, because you know how sometimes when something's a figment of your imagination, and they do flashbacks like in the Joker or in Joker, or Zazie Beetz' character was not. He had this relationship that never existed.
Right.
I'm just.
I mean, that's pretty good.
His,
That's pretty
his character
interesting
just doesn't make
speculation.
any sense. Yeah, the way he acts,
It's
you know.
pretty interesting speculation
I don't know.
because he's got to be important some way, right? So
Yeah, because I think
Whoa.
she's going to get locked up.
Sure.
Omega Swiper agrees
This
with
is
your theory. Wayne.
crazy.
Yeah, she's up there, man. She's
Yeah, she's doing her thing on this show. They picked a good actress for this.
Oh, she's a smart one, isn't she?
remember she's a
She's
master.
made out to make him an idiot. What the hell?
But remember what they said during the first half of this show, the first half of this episode. He's always 2 steps ahead.
That's what he said. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
What's going on there?
I think she's a few seconds
Aaron,
ahead of us.
baby.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're ahead, Aaron.
Oh, that's such a Batman move. Such a Batman move.
She's not a monster. She's just ahead of the curve.
By the way, in the movie, the Riddler started having the henchmen that started to dress up, and here we got a whole set of loyal Penguin thugs that'll, it's all coming together in Gotham City.
Let's open the door, buddy. What are you doing?
So you see this Monrose, Brad?
Yep.
Yep. That's what I think is going to end up. And you check out where he just went into in the tunnel, by the way. Kind of brings us back to the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
He couldn't climb down that ladder in the beginning, and now he's back there where he left his brothers. I thought I was going to see something a little different in there, but
Wait, did he warn his men?
yeah, he screamed, "Oh my god, it's a bomb!" But there's
He
was
didn't
18
heat it.
seconds.
It's like
yeah.
he was.
that's
they
a
were
big
too
bomb
far.
there.
They were on the other side. They weren't going to be able to hear him.
well, they took out they took out the whole section of the intersection there.
Yeah, but if he'd have ran over and told them, "Hey guys, it's a bomb," he wouldn't have got out.
If they don't have Batman in here next week because a fucking part of the city sunk under again, I'll be like, what the fuck is he
Yeah.
doing?
Like I said, I say it's good odds that he's in there, but he's not going to be
Right.
Story.
I want a Funko Pop of Little Penguin now.
Well, he looks like a fat version of Sheldon from that. What's that show?
Yeah.
Young Sheldon.
Hey, you got-
Oh,
Young Fat Sheldon, is that what you're
I
saying?
can't unsee that now.
You remind me
little
of
big Sheldon.
I can't unsee that now.
See, that's where Batman was singing "In My Blue," Brad. Telling you,
Yeah.
man, it's gonna be the Iceberg Lounge in the future.
Well,
It's gonna look like that at least, and we just saw that building exist.
Yeah,
a
I
scene
think you
ago.
might be onto something there, and it's like we got a week before we find that out.
I missed it. What happened to Penguin's main squeeze? The woman?
Oh, the one that sold him out.
Yeah, she sold him out last week.
Yeah, she's still there.
Batsman's saving all those people on top of that building. Still,
Oh, okay. Even though the flood is subsided, he's still saving those people.
We're weeks out. We're months away from that. That's old news now, right?
Yeah, how much time do you think
How
passed
is he
for the
gonna get
mushroom operation
Yeah,
to get
they've
caught up?
moved in for at least they're a couple months past that at least. If you look at the city, they're no longer doing flood reconstruction. They're just city.
Well,
just looks like it's
and the
normal shit.
mushrooms. He went from having 2 things of mushrooms
Yeah,
to having
and
a
that
full
yeah.
operation.
So he's
Yeah.
definitely in a different season.
Yeah. I don't know how much time has passed.
So
Yeah,
did,
they're
so,
ambiguous about that.
so
It
did
hasn't
he have
started
like
snowing yet.
polio or something? Because of his leg?
He has something wrong with him. They never really say.
Yeah. Might be polio. Yeah, but it hasn't started snowing yet either, William. So if we're in that same year, Batman was on Halloween.
This is giving me 9/11 vibes.
Yeah, I can see
Bubble?
it. Well, I mean, the ending of the Batman gave me Hurricane Katrina vibes.
Gives me Unabomber vibes.
This gives me TV show vibes. Omega says part 2 is going to be in December.
Yeah, the Batman. Is
In
that confirmed?
November.
Is
I
that
don't know.
confirmed?
We know it ends in November because it starts on Halloween. but,
Yeah, so it's like it's pretty much like as far into November as we are right now. So
It went up to election day because the whole the mayoral election is the climax of the
Okay.
movie.
thank you.
So it's probably like 6 or 7 days.
Yeah, and Halloween, I saw including Matt Reeves, some people were like diving on the idea, like, oh, it's Halloween and it's the opening of the Batman.
Because it's
tweeting about that.
Thursday, but then that shows he didn't do his research because it's Halloween 2022.
Mhm.
But the calendar ain't going to change, and Halloween was on Thursday this year, 2024. Can't be Thursday and Thursday 2 years apart.
Well, maybe it's 2024. He just didn't tell us.
It says 2022
Maybe
on the
it's
third
just
episode
fiction,
of this.
Yeah.
It says 2022 when the Luca gets buried, when they put him in the family mausoleum. So William, what'd you think?
That was a strong episode. A strong episode, which you'd expect from penultimate episode.
I think
Um,
Vic's gonna be the underboss. He said, "Raise me an army, bring me an army back." I think he's gonna die or be an underboss. That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know about underboss. That's pretty high up, but
I
definitely.
mean, he's the Penguin's best guy right now.
yeah, but that's
I think he's going to ride in and save the day for Penguin.
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, and I think she's going to end up getting locked back up. Either she's going to die or she's going to get locked up. The only problem I had with this episode, I knew Sal was going. Hey, congratulations. He lasted 3 episodes more than his usefulness. I thought was worth. So they kept him around. They kept him relevant. That's how he died. I'm like, come on, dude. It's got lame, but hey, I
His
think
cut opened back up.
like I said, I think she's going to end up. I don't know. I'm not as confident anymore if they're going to kill her, but he's going to end up on top.
Yeah, she's gonna be off the table.
Yeah, Oswald Cobblepot is going to end up as that. He's going to run that portion of the villainy. So when you see him in the Batman 2, he won't be the villain, but he'll be there just like he was in the Batman.
Mhm.
He'll be there, and he'll be the top mob boss
that's
when
true.
we see him again. So when this is what this is headed for, which is the only thing about it, it's like, okay, I pretty much know that Sal Maroni, you're dead, you're gone. Sophia, you're going back in a straight back jacket or a body bag, because it's the whole purpose of this show
Is to
build
elevate.
him up,
Yeah.
and to make him incredible and to enhance that universe with him in it.
So far we have the Penguin, the Riddler, and the Joker in Gotham as the first 3 and Catwoman as the first 4 supervillains.
And you have the Joker.
That's why I said the Joker, the Penguin.
And the Joker, okay, yeah, because the Joker is
And Riddler.
definitely going to
Yeah.
figure prominently.
Yeah.
I think the thing about when it comes to Matt Reeves is like he could do anything he wants, pretty much.
Mhm.
He could pick any character and make it its own. I think that when we're trying to guess, and like I said, I don't think he's left any precursors or breadcrumbs to lead anything. I think when people are putting things together that way, they're using versions of characters that they know of and that that's in their head, and not realizing that it's got to work in this guy's universe. It's just not going to happen. I don't see him. I see him skipping villains if he can't find a way. Like the Clayface. You're not going to see the Globmorphous Clayface.
No, if they do Clayface, it would be like that show they did. Yeah,
Yeah, it
where
would
it's
be
just his
the
face.
original actor, the Lon Chaney, based on Lon Chaney Senior type of guy who could, had makeup skills and can do it that way. If it's Mr. Freeze, he's going to use real world things that a person
He's gonna
who is
kill
a
people
watch
with an ice hook and leave them in a freezer overnight, a meat locker overnight.
or he'll leave
Right.
bodies. He'll leave bodies places, and you won't be able to track him because of the forensic evidence will be all fucked up because of the ice. There's a lot of ways you could do with Mr. Freeze, but I think
Just leave
when people are trying to guess what Matt Reeves is going to do next, they're using their comic book foresight that he's not using. So it's hard to get inside of his head when he's not using the same criteria that would, like you say, oh, I see Victor, people say I see Robin here, I see you, Victor. His mind doesn't seem to work that way.
What were you
He's
saying
a
for it?
fan, but he's not a fanboy.
So I hope to leave those characters out if they have to like completely alter them so that they fit in this world.
Oh, that's
Just
the beauty of it. See, but
Yeah.
there's other Batman movies for you though. There are
Tragedy.
other- No, because there are other Batman movies for you to watch those versions of those characters, and this is the one here. I don't want him to change his way of doing things. If I'm not on board with it, I'm like I said, I don't want anybody to change their style, as long as I have variety. If I have a Batman, I can watch him down. I'm good. If you want to do a Batman where he's doing go-go dancing shit and he's riding shotgun with an adolescent dude dressed as a circus clown called Robin, that there's Batman for you. There's plenty of platforms for that.
Yeah,
This one-
I'm not in total agreement with you, but I do tend to agree with most of what you're saying because, and I come from a different viewpoint. We've already got those things, so we got them, so we have them. So
Yeah,
I'm
they're
always
there.
kind of looking forward to seeing something new. I'm more interested if it's going to be good or not for me.
So see, he
Yeah.
doesn't. So far, Matt Reeves, and
Right.
the stuff that I've seen of Matt Reeves and going back to Apes and everything else,
Mhm.
this guy puts on quality story. I'm never worried about that for me personally. But like I said, the beauty of his universe is that it's not ridiculous. It's not ridiculous. But the beauty of those other universes is that they are. You see what I mean? So it's like whatever mood. If I'm in a mood to watch crazy shit, I got plenty of Batman out there to do it. But if I'm in a mood to watch a Batman that could literally happen in the world, I have that too. And I don't want one to change at all. I don't want the crazy shit to change, and I don't want the shit he's doing to change personally.
Yeah, just like the comics have different variations on the character, so you get your fix any way you want it.
Yeah, it's all Batman. It's just whatever. If you want Batman that's walking around in daylight and hanging out with superheroes, you have the Justice League version of that. If you want the Batman family, Batman generally has them in it, or you can read those comics. If you want just straight up solo Batman, that just hangs, the only person he interacts with is Commissioner Gordon and the forensics people, then you have Detective Comics. If you want hardcore Batman where he's doing brutal shit and of course stuff like that, you have Black Label Batman. Like so there's a Batman for you. Or
Batman now.
you have absolute Batman if you want to go completely batshit crazy. So
Vince
Yeah,
Vince says that Reeves isn't going to put anything magical in it, not a hint of it. I could see that, but then also Batman sitting there taking submachine gun fire point or not. Point
well,
blank,
that's
but, like, close
action. That's
range.
action.
Right,
that's
right,
action crazy stuff, though. Yeah.
Well, I always say his head hit a bridge when he was jumping off of a.
Yeah, but as far as like when you're thinking of these characters, if he ever did put them, understand they won't exist in his universe unless they could exist in ours. And some of these characters just would not exist in a universe, a world that we live in.
Azteca, excuse me, says that it's obvious Batman 2 is going to lead into the Court of Owls for the finale.
If they did it that way, see, that's an enemy he doesn't have to really change. He doesn't have to really.
Why is it
transform them
obvious? The only thing that I can really see as a hint of the Court of Owls is when they
Yeah, I don't
talk
think anything is obvious.
when,
Yeah.
when they talk about Martha's origins as an Arkham and how Bruce has a connection to the Arkham Asylum. That's the only thing that I can see that's connected to the Court of Owls so far. But
Yeah,
I'm not
that's-
saying it's not going to happen. That's just the only
yeah.
thing I see that's even close to it.
Well, once again, I don't think he's leaving you anything to be like, oh, did you see that?
Mhm.
I don't think there's anything you're going to be able to speed back and look. There's a lot of Easter eggs in here, but a lot of the Easter eggs, even some of the best shows I've seen that break these Easter eggs down, It's a
They're just
mostly
Easter
it's
eggs so
their-
far.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
their conjecture. It's 90%
Yeah.
their speculation and basically. So, but I think he's been very careful not to leave. He'll tell you where he wants your mind to go, and that's what he does, and that's in all his movies. He generally,
Even Cloverfield.
he's straightforward one way or another. Whether you like some of the stuff or not, it's pretty straightforward. There's no. It's like if you watch the TV show Fringe, that was back on in the early 2010s. You had to watch that show. They layered details that weren't relevant until the next season, and then you had to go back and look at it. And oh shit, I missed that. The way J.J. Abrams and crew wrote that show, you could not pay attention. If you didn't pay attention, you were going to miss something, but they made it to where you could go back.
Is Fringe a J.J. Abrams thing or a Reese thing, or is it a collaboration? Or
It's
what?
a J.J. Abrams thing, but I'm just showing you
Okay.
the contrast of
Gotcha.
Reeves doesn't really hide things out there for you. It doesn't, it doesn't seem to be his style. So a lot of guessing is going on. I don't think there's nothing out there to,
Omega Swiper says ice is like fire, but terrorism. So I guess that's his Mr. Freeze conjecture.
Well, he's eco-terrorist. Remember that. So that fits along what he's doing. But once again, how would a person here in a real world be Mr. Freeze? That's how you build that character.
Characters that can be used in this setting that are true to themselves instead of altering existing ones that are fantastical so that they're nothing like but in name only.
No, I think that's literally the appeal to it for me. That is the top appeal for me in his universe is because that's an art form to me. That's just me.
Let me get this straight between you two. So if you can clear me up. Fourth, you're asking for Reeves to put in people that don't need to change too much to be fitting in the world. And William, you're saying take somebody like Killer Croc or Mr. Freeze and tone them down to fit in the world, and that's cool.
Now, Killer Croc might be a little bit ridiculous.
But I just use that as a fantastical example.
But like a
not
Mr.
necessarily the person.
Freeze, if you're gonna do I'm tired of the Scarecrow. But if you're gonna do the Scarecrow, you would do him.
Oh
in
hell
the
with
world.
that! I don't think we've gotten anywhere near enough Scarecrow.
No,
we get like 5 minutes of him, in Scarecrow garb in Batman Begins, and then he's like gets apprehended in Dark Knight. He's there as the judge of a kangaroo.
He did serve a purpose. He puts me to sleep. That version of him, but I don't need to see that. But you could do a Mr. Freeze. Court of Owls.
Go ahead.
What? That shit
Scarecrow?
version of that movie? No.
Just uses chemicals to make people.
Your mic is going in and out, Fourth. I don't know if.
But we already have people hallucinating about shit. So he could do anything. But if I had
that drug, they could really fuck with that drug, William, and bring Scarecrow. I don't know.
But they're already fucking with the drugs. So
exactly.
You don't need him.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, Mr. Freeze to me, Court of Owls is entertaining simple because it makes Gotham even more of a character than it already is, and the way he writes the story, Gotham is a character in these stories. So the Court of Owls reinforces that. I'm not saying that's what he's going to do, but if there's anything that's ready made for what he's currently doing now, Court of Owls is. But it doesn't even have to be ready made for me. See, I'm of the opposite of what Forrest saying. Give me Mr. Freeze and show me how you're going to do it. Give me Clayface. Don't give me the T1000 Clayface, but you give me the.
Maybe they'll do exactly what you said, and if they do a Court of Owls for the second or the third movie, Lincoln Marshall will be somebody that you actually saw in the first movie and didn't even realize you saw him.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways you can write Court of Owls because the way they retroactively embed them into Gotham is perfect, and you can do that here. So, but yeah, this is why I want diversity and variety when it comes to DC. The one DC that fits all shit, I'm glad that diaper is being taken off and thrown away because that was wasteful and it was stupid, and they stuck with it for a long time. I mean, we're mid 2000s. We lost out on a lot of good stories because one asshole had to be in charge. Whoever that asshole was, one asshole. If he was telling his story, Jeff Johns, anybody. Let's go all the way back to 1986. One asshole came up with an idea, and that was the idea for everybody. And that should have never. And that trickled down to where you had a lot of good writers leave DC because of that. Because a lot of those writers that made historical runs on these titles, and then all of a sudden their history is being retconned because of an editorial decision. And that happened after New 52 after that flat. That's if there's a good
Oh.
documentary. One of these days I'm going to pull it up here.
Unfortunately, not everybody's Grant Morrison, where they can take things that are ridiculous, not ridiculous,
Yeah.
dark, light, and put it all together and reference it. Like he's amazing at that. But
Well, he's about one of 3 people that you can drop into chaos, and he can basically
he can
take
make
pieces
something out of
chaos.
it. It's not
Most-
always perfect, but he can pull from so many different things, even through a crisis, even through a major like tonal change, and he can connect those things.
Yeah,
'Cause he
it's his
did that
writing
shit.
style.
Yeah, he's good at that. You just don't have, like you said, you don't have a lot of people that can really pull that off.
Most top tier elite writers cannot. And
You have to
don't.
know
It's such a
everything
hard
about
sell.
fucking the comic book you're writing, like, and everything ever about it.
Well,
that's
it's an
the way he
emotional
writes.
thing.
Yeah.
You put in an investment in there, and you're on the books like for 3 or 4 years, 5 years. You basically are trying to get your Chris Claremont or your Mark Silvestri type of run on the
Mhm.
book, and then somebody comes in and takes everything from under you.
That's what I'm
You know,
saying.
So unless
But
the
you
book is
can't.
failing,
But you can't stop progress either, right, William? I mean,
you can't stop progress, but you can stop mismanagement, and that's
True
what the
enough,
thing is.
true
You
enough.
can accomplish goals if you properly manage them. You can tell a big giant story. You don't have to take everyone else's story away. That's why what we're going through with this right now is very important. Everybody needs to look at this. If you want to do your own crisis type situation, you don't have to fuck up the book that somebody's been buying 5 or 6 years, or that somebody else has been working on 5 or 6 years. You know, that
especially
is
if you invented the multiverse, you really have
yeah,
no
I mean,
reason to do the shit.
you've never had a reason to do that. And like I said, cinematically, once again, here we are watching, being told, by the knuckle draggers that we got to make room for James Gunn's this or that, or Matt Reeves Batman. We got to make room for this and that. And here we are sitting on 8 or 9 months away from one universe beginning while we're watching one that's not going anywhere.
Everything
That's
you,
what we need
you
to be.
should do to try to make a good movie or a compelling movie or something that's drives the genre forward instead
Yeah,
of
and
being
in
the
different
same old shit.
different ways. Batman movies always have 2 to 3 villains, but who will the main villain be? Focus on Batman 2. I don't know, but I want him to be careful though. Where Batman movies go south with me is when there's
When they get
too
too
many
many.
fucking villains. The
Or-
Dark Knight pissed me off with that because I like Aaron as Two-Face. You could have given me a Two-Face movie. I didn't need it there. He took up
I feel like
way too
I
much
feel
time
like
in that
of
movie.
all the multi-villain Batman movies, though, the Dark Knight, like Aaron Eckhart, as much as he doesn't chomp that much time up. Like Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey are fighting each other for attention.
Yeah, but
the
there
whole
was no
movie.
Heath Ledger in that movie. There was no Heath Ledger. Once you had to look at that script and had
I
you
think
be
I
reading
think
at
you're
that
right. I
table.
think you're right when you say that there's no
He-
Heath Ledger in the movie, and that's also why I say like Aaron Eckhart, as good as he is, he doesn't overtake anything in that movie.
I think he takes up too much time. He doesn't overtake. He just doesn't need to be there. He kills. There are
Kills Maroni.
things in the Dark Knight. There are things in the Dark Knight that fuck up the momentum of the Dark Knight, and it just makes it to where I can't watch that movie all the way through anymore. I watch the Joker scenes. Because-
the only thing that gets got weak on me is the fighting. I disagree with you, and I think that whole movie is everything in that movie is all escalation. Every scene,
I think it's chopped up. That's just how
Okay,
I saw it. But I think that there are times when the movie escalates, and then we go to Lucius Fox. There are times when the movie escalates, and let's go with Toothface. The only time that really came together was the hospital scene where he's doing the whole hospital blowing up the hospital. That was fine when they were sharing the screen together, but it was dominated
So do
by.
you think that it should have? And I could agree with you this right there. Do you think it should have ended for Eckhart's character right there on a either he has the bandages on or we see that he's Two-Faced and you just leave it at that?
That's it. That's
Okay.
it. We see his
Okay.
scars. Kind of,
It would have been better to have him come back in the next movie instead of what we got.
Yeah, but he would have been a much better villain because
Yeah.
you would have developed him.
But
You know.
apparently he was going to be in the third film if things because the original strip was going to have Joker and
Yeah, and
Two-Face
Heath Ledger
team
passed
up.
away.
and
Yeah,
Heath
well,
Ledger
also,
passed
how's that-
away.
how would
I wouldn't have even needed. I wouldn't have even needed even if Heath Ledger hadn't died. He didn't need to be in the
But
third
Eckhart's
movie.
character
How-
did die. Two-Face did die in the movie because
Yeah,
that's
how-
the
and
script.
how
The
would that-
script says that he died.
How would that even work? Where it's like he comes back in the third movie because then he's gonna like tell everybody it's like no, Batman is the whole thing about covering up what I did. It's like that's total malarkey.
Well,
So,
that's where, but the Dark Knight fails me. That part of the story I thought was always.
That's
stupid.
why you say
Yeah.
he should have either not been in it or it should have just been Harvey Dent and not Two-Face yet, even
Yeah, or you
like
see
like
him
what
get it-
Burton was trying to do with '89 Batman.
you see him get Billy D. Williams. You see him get hurt, but he's not the story. He's not the story. Save that for 3. You know, all this, you know,
Remember, his story is connected to Batman's love interest. So there is a dynamic there where you can still have that emphasis on the creation of the monster, right?
That's fine.
And then
99.9% of it needs to be in the Dark Knight Rises, because the Dark Knight Rises, when you look at the villain that you had, the villain that you had, and the villain that you ended up getting, that's a downgrade. Just knowing what you saw as Two-Face and then going to Bane, both great actors, but that was a massive downgrade because you developed them, then you could have sprung them loose in part 3.
They just made the Legal Assassin shitty. They made Bane shitty. They made Batman out of his own movie. They had dumb shit like fixing his back with a rope.
The movie, there's so much horrible in the Dark Knight Rises. It's not people who they
Bruce
hired
Wayne went broke. William, Bruce Wayne went broke because Bane in front of everybody stole everything out of his stock market electronically. Like that's proof. You could just undo that immediately and you'd be fine.
And you had a lot of Academy Award either winners or level people in that movie.
Cat getting a check. That's what they were there for, was a check.
Well, no, they did the best with what they were given. Michael Caine did the best. I think Michael Caine has a compelling performance in it. He did the best with the material he was given. Marion Cotillard, she was capable of playing a better version of her character. She just was given garbage to do. All those people in there, you know. And then
I always say that the woman
Ra's al Ghul is tragic. That's
the woman that played the secondary love interest on Casino Royale.
Eva Green?
Katarina Marino. She should have been Talia al Ghul for that third movie if they're going to do it. She looks just like Talia al Ghul at that time.
It's that even then, the story behind her sucked.
Yeah,
their Ra's al Ghul sucked. You took a top tier.
Yeah, I did. But it was just Henri Ducard. It wasn't even Ra's al Ghul.
That's what I'm saying. You took a top tier. Liam Neeson is top tier, and that's what you gave me. You gave me you gave me Benadryl. Batman Begins is Benadryl for me. It gets me drowsy.
Well, it means we're doing a watch party for it then.
No, we're listen. You will do
no bullshit. I suffer through all these scary movies. We're doing Batman.
You want to do? Listen, there's a lot of you guys that love.
We're gonna make you watch Scariest Movie 6. Listen, that's a fact.
No, listen, fuck we are.
A lot of you guys love the Nolan trilogy. I have very little use for it other than Heath Ledger. I think it's boring. I think it's slow. I love Christian Bale. I hate him as Batman or Bruce Wayne. There's a lot of top tier talent in there that is.
I think he's an excellent Bruce Wayne. I'm not a big fan of his Batman, but I love his
Bruce Wayne. Either one of them. Just the sound of his Batman. I almost got up and left The Dark Knight Rises. There's a lot of talent in those movies, including Tom Hardy. I just think they did the best with what they were given.
Tom Hardy as the character we all love.
And that character, like I said,
when you always make him a joke, Brad. That's why that movie sucks, because everybody does that.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
They made that Bane.
First of all,
I know you don't like Bane in general, William, but there's better ways to do it. There's better ways to do it.
Yeah, it's a garbage character, but when you're building on a trilogy, so let's see where we went. We started with Ra's al Ghul, which is you fucked him up. And
it was just they should have just let Henri Ducard be Henri Ducard and not done the League, or even have Ken Watanabe be the real Ra's al Ghul. It's better to have him as the real Ra's al Ghul instead of the shit they did.
Exactly, and then he doubled down on some bullshit by bringing his daughter in, who's an amazing and very compelling character, played by an amazing actress. So you had a compelling character and a compelling actress, and somehow you gave me that shit. When one of the worst, dumbest death scenes, Tom Hardy is up there. There's not too many movies that he's in that I don't like. He sucks in this movie.
He got punched. He got punched in his mouthpiece, and that stopped him from.
That's big bad day.
What the fuck was that all about?
No, he had the little gauntlets hook onto one of the tubes and unlatch them, and that's
okay.
It.
And then his death thing sucks.
But remember what they were supposed to be? It wasn't even venom. It was painkillers. So I cut off your supply to painkillers, and then that's supposed to kill you.
And how he dies? His death scene is even. This movie had some of the worst death scenes of all time. And
did you ever see the somebody cut this together actually after it came out? It was Bane's death scene where Catwoman blasts him with the rocket from the the Batpod, and then it cuts, and Batman looks over and it cuts to Coulson out of the Avengers going. That's like, I wonder what that's what that does, or whatever his line was there. Anybody ever see that here?
Ghul
like,
was
what
trash
person
in that movie. Ra's al Ghul is trash in that movie. I'm sorry. And it continues. And then so we go from those pool of characters, which you've already mismanaged and misused and gotten very little out of top tier talent.
Tekla said Salma Hayek would have made a good Talia.
No. Marilyn Carter made it was the right.
I don't
choice
hate
of
her. I'm
actress.
just saying. I think Katarina Marino looks exactly like
If you
fucking
give
Talia al Ghul at that time.
you gave an Academy Award winner a shit part to work with. There was nothing she could do for that role. So you escalate it. You build up these legacy of characters, and what do you round it out with? Fucking Bane.
Fuck yeah, you round out with Bane.
That's where you went.
Don't round it out with Bane, Brad.
And it ended, and you got exactly what you would think when you put a shit character.
I mean, they left the Joker alive at the last movie, and then the actor died, and that's unfortunate because you figure the Joker probably would have came back, or at least had Batman coming back.
One person that could replace the Joker at that time, at the height of his fame,
Who do you
and
think?
people would have forgiven the replacement.
Who's that?
Johnny Depp.
Nah, that would have doomed him. He could have put on the greatest performance of all time, and it would have.
This is around Pirates of the what? This is what the
This
fourth
circa
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, they would have pissed.
I
all
don't know.
over
It's
him.
like I don't know. Maybe this might. I mean, without getting into like the old,
It's an interesting choice for us.
thing
It's an
around
interesting choice.
whether you love or hate Johnny Depp at this point.
He's
I
an
mean,
excellent actor. He
I
just needs.
I don't know. I don't think he. I don't know. I think
he has
got
problems. He has
I
problems.
no, I don't think he's got the range that I think he's actually for where he's excelled. It's always been he doesn't have as much range. I think it's probably a lot of.
can't-
Have you seen
you-
Blow or Donnie
only-
Brasco?
Yeah,
Or
you
yeah,
watching
Johnny
the same
Depp's one of
Johnny
the
Depp that I'm
yeah.
talking about?
And so he was at the peak of his fame. I think people would have forgiven the switch because they love Johnny Depp at
Now,
the time.
people, okay, you're thinking rational people. These no,
2012, or
no.
12 years ago.
I mean, Depp is like he works for me in Tim Burton movies, and and Jack Sparrow, and that's kind of about it for me.
Yeah, and I think he did too many Tim Burton movies, and even though he did some, good
He's awesome in Sleepy Hollow. I will always stand by
the
that.
problem with that is that lets people. He's tied to some of those roles to the point where people think he doesn't have range, which is incorrect. That guy's he's top tier. Now, a lot of the other stuff, he's got a lot of problems on set. He's not easy to work with. That's
That's
stuff
putting
that,
it gently.
that's like he's got a lot of issues. Not just forget about Amber Heard. He's got a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
But as far as his range goes, I think the Burton movies don't have the range. They don't expose the range I think he can go to. It's like I said, with any actor, a consumer and a customer only knows what they've seen. That doesn't mean that's what that guy or gal can't do.
And I think that he was because they'd initially kind of Warner Brothers had wanted the Riddler at the time for Rises, and his name was kind of floated around for that at the time. And he even commented on it. He said, "Yeah, I could jump. That might be kind of a fun thing to do." So he contemplated the idea of jumping aboard. But yeah, I don't know. It's like Depp was,
Joaquin Phoenix was approached for the Joker back then.
he's talked about that.
He
Yeah,
said he wasn't ready for it. You know what? Hey, everything turned out right. He ended up playing the Joker and winning an Academy Award for it. Now he's, I just, like I said, when it comes to, like I said, I try not to think of the Nolan trilogy outside of Heath Ledger. I let everybody else enjoy those movies. The first one was boring.
I don't
remember
hate the
coming
first
back-
one. I just don't. I don't like how you get robbed of the Legion of Assassins.
I
or
remember
League of
coming back on
Assassins.
deployment. I came back on deployment. The first thing I watched when I came back on deployment was Batman Begins, and it legit put me to sleep. It legit put me at sitting because we had a copy of it. We were playing it in the store because it had been released on there, and I was watching it surrounded by comic books on my giant screen, surrounded by Batman, and that fucking movie put me to sleep. All right, so you guys enjoy it, continue to enjoy it. But now, even The Dark Knight to me, I think it's a great Heath Ledger. It's an all-time Heath Ledger performance with some stuff surrounding it called a movie.
I can't say you see the Batman Begins put you to sleep, but the Batman didn't put you to sleep. That movie is
It's not,
boring.
no, not even close. That dude, Batman Begins. Oh no.
I can't believe you can. That's your thought on Begins, but you were able to tolerate 5 scary movies just to watch me suffer.
I did that for charity. I mean, I
You
took
weren't
that-
even
that
around,
was-
William. you were in your store walking around avoiding
And,
the screen as
and
much as
don't
possible.
forget about all
You
the
gotta-
other
you do what you got to do.
spoof
You know?
movies,
What was that, Aaron? What was that, Aaron?
like that spoof movie from 300.
Yeah, you Meet the Spartans, that piece of shit.
Oh, that was lame.
Yeah.
I didn't hide walking
That was
around.
awful.
Once again,
Uh,
Brad, I did not bring up scary movie on this stream.
No, I'm
I did.
It's wrong. Listen,
Brad
film
did.
is subjective. Listen, if you got excited about the Batman Begins, hey, I'm not here to change your mind. I was just responding to questions.
I'll put
I'm
it
not
to
here
you.
to change his mind.
So coming off of Batman and Robin, William, and then you have Batman Begins. You weren't at all. You didn't have any good impressions about that.
No,
It's the last movie that last Batman movie you would have saw,
I
right? That was new
no,
was
because
Batman and
once
Robin.
they started working on this movie, everybody knew it was going to be different. They made it plain
For
clear
sure,
that
for
this
sure.
was something new. So I thought I was going to see it. I went into it open minded.
I thought at the time it was a prequel to '89 because they really hadn't the idea of like cinematically rebooting stuff had not been really it had not become what it is now. So it's like I think a lot of people did have the idea it was a prequel to '89.
Nobody
misconception,
I laid eyes or ears on did because everybody at that era realized that Batman had ran its course. So nobody that I saw and heard of, thought that Batman Begins had anything to do with that Batman. That Batman had ran its course. Everybody
Then
they
says,
did.
or maybe Nolan and Reeves Batman movies were boring.
You're not a fan, really.
I mean, like I said, it's all subjective. But no, when 2002, when the first mention of Batman Begins was happening when they started doing the casting, it was made painfully clear to everybody, man, woman, and child, that this had nothing to do with any other Batman movie. Those Batman movies had ran their course. You got 4 of them for the most part, depending on how you want to consider it, and it had been a long time. You were now talking to a generation that Keaton's Batman was not relevant to. The people that were going to
And
see
yet here
Batman
we are putting a Flash movie out with Keaton trying to sell it to people.
Remember
who are
what
30 years
I
old.
don't know what is it. I think it was I was still on Poindexter Lounge and I'm like, everybody's telling me, oh, I'm just going to see
You were
Keaton.
calling him Fossil Batman. I remember. I
Fossil
remember.
I remember that.
All right.
Also Batman. All due respect to Michael Keaton, one of the greatest actors ever, but his Batman was not even relevant to the people that were going
To the
Batman
last two generations of people, probably. Exactly.
If you were born on the day that Batman '89 was released and you're going to the movies, you're probably 60. You are the target range.
Yeah, you
You
think
are at the
Val
beginning of
Kilmer
the
and
target
George
range.
Clooney are Batman, probably. Yeah.
You don't probably not even at that point. So yeah, so there was no rebooting 89. Like I said, I gave any Batman. You put a Batman movie in front of me, I'm pretty much going to go see it. I went into that movie. I had no pretext going into that movie, and it's just boring. It was just boring. It was slow moving. The pacing's awful. And like I said, I went into it. You told me that you were going to put that assemblage of actors together, and I was going to be bored. I would have been shocked. I didn't think I was going to be. And then like I said, I was not going to go see The Dark Knight. As soon as I heard Heath Ledger being casted, I'm like, oh, Brokeback Joker, that's funny. I had no intentions on seeing The Dark Knight. I'll get it on DVD or whatever, because I can skip a comic book movie, no big deal. When I heard the first trailer for The Dark Knight, and it wasn't even seeing Heath Ledger, it was that trailer where he's rolling around.
Yeah,
he it's just
Batman.
Batman.
Played before I Am Legend, I think.
Yeah, he's going around on his motorcycle, and they've cut up sounds from him, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be amazing. And then and a week later, they showed him, and I'm like, wow. And
That
then
motherfucker killed that Joker.
Yeah.
He killed it.
I had no intentions.
That
of going
interrogation scene is great. There's a couple
Interrogation's
good ones in
all-time
there.
great. The
Yeah.
interrogation scene is it's an all-time.
That's a
great
classic
scene.
Batman Joker scene, right?
But when you're watching that, when you're watching the beginning of The Dark Knight, the Banksy, everything about that scene, you're watching an
Banksy.
all-time great performance. You're watching something that
That
10,
Banksy
20
is
years
the
from
shit.
now, you're going to be watching about. There was none of that in either The Dark Knight, The Dark Knight Rises, or Batman Begins. You had one all-time performance surrounded by those two movies. And now, in retrospect, people look like it made $1 billion. It made it. Heath Ledger's estate should get like a good percentage of The Dark Knight Rises, because that movie ain't making that kind of money without his legend attached to that movie. I mean, he put himself up there with the
Yeah,
top
yeah.
people
That
in the
shit didn't deserve $1 billion. It made it because the other movie made
and that's fine.
it.
And there are people who will support and say, "Oh, the Dark Knight Rises was a classic." I'm like, it depends on what you consider to be a classic. I guess it's all it's all going to be different. But no, not me. And like I said, I can sit through the Batman. I think the Batman's a better paced movie. I think the Batman is more true to the spirit of Batman, the spirit of Gotham, the spirit of the corruption of Gotham. I think that Matt Reeves does the real world effect better than just throwing some shit in Chicago or whatever the hell it was. I just get a better feel, a better vibe from it, and I could watch his version of Batman forever. And
So
that's
what
just, like
if
I said, that
Reeves?
is not me trying to change anybody's mind.
What if Reeves throws Bane in there with the Venom next movie? Then what? You think
I'd
he'll
be
do it the way-
disappointed because to be honest with you, and I think Reeves is amazing. I just told you that I think he could take any villain and do a lot with him,
Mhm.
provided the villain's not a shit villain to begin with.
Could you see him doing Poison Ivy, and if so, how?
No, I could see him. I don't, because of the nature of her powers. So, and so depending on what version you're gonna do,
She's probably one of the most powerful
yeah,
metahumans.
I don't see her doing there. I don't see
And
things.
she's like
you know,
she's in touch with the green, So.
yeah. I don't see it. I don't see it. I think he's going to stick with it. And like I said, I think that a character like Bane is the antithesis of what Matt Reeves has done. Because I really think I don't think he can take a garbage villain and make them anything. I think the villain has to be something that already has a core credibility, and Bane doesn't have any.
So you hear that, James Gunn? Batista is Bane for the Batman 2.
Azteca's suggesting that you should
James
watch a
Gunn is
Nolan.
not the decision maker for the Batman too. So
He's suggesting that you should watch a Nolan Michael Mann interview, William. I guess on your own time.
I've watched plenty of them. Listen, I respect Nolan. I just don't.
No. He's talking about an interview that Nolan and Michael Mann did together. I guess that's what I
I
was.
saw it. Yeah, I saw it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was that
Yeah,
recently?
Came up with no, it was well.
Azteca says in Matt Reeves' world, Poison Ivy will be a weed dispensary villain. That sounds like a hero in my book, buddy.
Then that's where I go along with Forrest. Then if that's too drastic.
Yeah, that's like
too drastic.
Well, you got William and Fourth
so
agreeing, and they're on the same
no.
side of the screen. Wow.
You have to have there's a certain range of credibility that you want to have the character. Like you could still do Mr. Freeze. You can still do, but when you're talking about somebody like her, that's like saying the Green Lantern just has a fucking
or like
a holograph machine when he comes
or-
down instead of a ring or something. You don't want to do that.
what was it that John
Projector.
Peters, John
Like
Peters
Scooby-Doo
when he told Kevin Smith his conditions were it's like no cape, no flying, and fight the giant spider.
Yeah. That's a little bit. You're not. That's no longer the character. You still, even if you don't like the certain versions of the character, they are still recognizable by their tendencies as the character that he's doing. So, like I said, it still has to be a good enemy, and it's got to be an enemy that would fit in our world. So there's certain enemies that are probably going to be excluded. That you probably would never see in the Reeves universe, depending on where
you guys are so fixated on this idea. Poison Ivy is a drug dealer.
Is a drug dealer? I mean,
so
they have the shrooms in the show. She might be able to do something with that. That's right.
She might be really ugly and just growing
absolute fun
shrooms.
funds on a whole absolute different level. It's like
They're
you got
using
hit
her
with
as-
the dark side beams.
They're using her as fertilizer, and when you find out she's got all these mushrooms coming out of her, I don't know.
That's why it only took 2 days for the mushrooms to grow, William, because
There you
Poison
go.
Ivy's
It's going
in the
right off
sewer.
of a woman. It's going right off of a woman. All right, guys. I think that's where we should wrap it up before it gets in a little bit crazy. There you go. One more episode left. I will not be on the air tomorrow because it's Monday, and I don't foresee any breaking news. Might not be on the air Tuesday night too.
Wonder why.
That might piss me off. But hey,
even
definitely go on there.
either
Oh, what's
way.
going on Tuesday? There's like a
reality show.
Girl Scout cookie star on Tuesday. You guys are right. My bad.
Reality
Really,
show that you might all become part of.
Honestly, even really either way it goes on, it's like I think I might just be too tempting, like just get too deep into because we don't really get into politics on the show, so I feel like it's like either direction it goes.
I'm just
it's like,
fucking around, Vince.
it'd be too tempting. So I feel like either outcome, it's like probably best to kind of take Tuesday off.
You guys
I
just
don't know.
talk about Wednesday.
Damn should be on the air. All right. Yeah, get out and vote. Whoever you're going to vote for, get out and vote. Third world countries don't have this right. Like I said, the Banana Republics, they pretty much, install who they want to, and you don't have a say in it. You have a say. Anybody tells you elections don't mean anything,
Try the vote.
get that up there. Anybody that tries to tell you that elections don't mean anything doesn't know anything about elections. Doesn't have an appreciation for what you're currently sitting in, and that includes if you live in a first world place where shit's not getting turned over based on who the strongest person with the most gun is, that means you probably live in a place where your vote doesn't matter. If people have told you that, they're full of shit. You live in a country like this, or a country like this, take advantage of everything it has to offer, regardless to which way you decide to vote. Understand that this is not a given. I've stepped foot in countries where this is not a given. And I think sometimes the people who live in this country just take it for granted, and it's sad. Most of you will never leave the country that you're sitting in right now. Most people that live in a country will never leave their country. I've had the opportunity to do so, and I've seen places that aren't us. So take advantage of why they aren't us, and we are them. So, all right, guys, tomorrow we're off. Tuesdays, hit and miss. This weekend's going to be another one. I got a live event at the end of the week that I'll be prepared for, so I'll try to get on there. We will be doing a Prey screening at some point during the week. I do not know what day, but pay attention to the
Prey? Okay.
Yeah, pay attention to the alert.
Talk about Prey. Happy Native American History Month.
Yes, and that's factors right into the time setting of Prey.
Yeah, and like I said, I hear people say that, and it fucking makes me sick. It absolutely makes me sick.
Carlin, he was always a little too cynical for me, to be perfectly honest, as a comedian.
Yeah.
So.
And listen, just because if you want to give up on the system, that's a you thing. I don't think you should spread that bullshit to anybody else, but that's just my opinion. But once again, I volunteered to come back in a pine box for what I'm saying. So I'm not a comedian. A comedian stands up on the stage. Yeah,
compulsory voting Australia.
A comedian standing up on the stage and telling you to do something. Okay, I'm probably going to listen to my
100% voter turnout.
Aaron's
but then, like I said, and then the same people who get up in these places and tell you to not do things like that, first one's whining when shit hits the fan. All right, guys, I will see you sometime during the week. Stay tuned, stay alert, stay alive, stay healthy. Bye.
Bye, guys.